What's up, JHM? Welcome to Real Talk.
We're not only your hosts, Joe and Montana, but we're also some of the junior high pastors here at the Anaheim location.
Anyways, we're stoked you're here as our, live studio audience today because we're starting a brand new series called Real Talk. And today, our episode is titled Dating 101, aka everything you need to know about dating and relationships. You're welcome.
So we thought we would start off with the top 3 things that guys and girls need to know about each other before they decide to date.
It's probably smart. Well, that's right, because these things could definitely be a make it or break it.
Number 1, there is no such thing as the perfect guy.
Say
That's right, ladies. I know it's hard to believe. But you can't just assume that we're all gonna be like this year's sexiest man alive, Chris Evans. No one is perfect. We have our flaws too. God made each of us with our own set of strengths and weaknesses.
I mean, I'm hearing you out with the strengths and weaknesses, but have we all seen Chris Evans? That man has only strengths. Have you seen, Captain America. Come on, you guys.
Boom! You are a pretty good actor. I'm more than pretty good.
All right. I would have to say the same thing though for girls. There's no such thing as the perfect girl. Romans 3:23 says, "For everyone has sinned. We all fall short of God's glorious standard." We have to keep this in mind about each other. We can't hold anyone up to this perfect standard or have these high expectations of them because we all fall short. That's a good reminder. All right, number 2, guys and girls are different. We look different, we talk different, we think different, we see the world differently, we smell different, thank God. But the differences between us aren't a bad thing. Could you imagine how boring relationships would be if we were all exactly the same? Girls tend to be more emotional sometimes, and our emotions and feelings guide our decisions and actions.
And guys can be more physically driven and not let our emotions show as much. Genesis 1:27 says, "So God created human beings in his own image, and in the image of God, he created them. Male and female, he created them." This is such an awesome reminder that God made girls and guys different because he knew that we needed both unique genders to make the world a better place. All right, now number 3. Girls, we want you to love God more than us.
And guys, we want you to also love God more than us.
We think it's cool when you love God with all of your heart. Mark 12:30 says, "And you must love the Lord your God with all of your heart, all of your soul, and all of your mind, all of your strength." It's so important in your relationship to not put everything on the other person and to hold them up on a pedestal. We have to put God first in everything, learning to love him more and more every day because only great relationships flow from that.
Wow, those are such good points on how guys and girls are different. Well, you've probably heard enough from us for now, so why don't we cut to a commercial break brought to you by our sponsor.
Be quiet.
That
was awesome.
Oh,
I
man.
can't wait to see all of you do dares at our Double Dog Dare.
It's gonna be incredible.
It's
Look
gonna
for
be
news
great.
on that coming up.
Well, welcome back to our show, Real Talk.
So now you've learned a little bit about guys and girls. It's time to jump into how God sees us, because I believe this is so important to know before we jump into a relationship.
It's true. Sometimes we look at ourselves and think we're not good enough, smart enough, skinny enough, cool enough. And honestly, the list goes on and on. And each of those thoughts affect how we see ourselves, how we see each other, and how we see relationships. It can affect who you're attracted to, what you'll put up with, the types of friends you choose, and who you like. The world tries to tell us that we need to keep up with the coolest TikToker and YouTuber, or be on a diet and work out constantly, or look and act like all those people we see on Netflix. Some of us get so focused on what we should be that we miss out on what is truly awesome about us. Our value comes from the inside and from the one who made us.
I mean, that's so true. I can relate to that. That's why we believe that it's so important to remember how God sees us. So we're gonna list off a few truths that God says about each and every one of us. But instead of us telling you, we thought we would let you hear from some of our campuses.
First, God says that you are a part of His story. And that's so important to know and remember, because when we forget that God made us on purpose and for a purpose, we may start to take for granted some of those things that make us unique. Jeremiah 1:5 says, I knew you before I formed you in your mother's womb. Before you were born, I set you apart and appointed you as my prophet to the nations. Basically, God knew exactly what He needed, and He decided to make you. You are a part of His plan.
That's so good. And God also says that you are precious, you are honored, and that you are loved. Isaiah 43:4 says, others were given in exchange for you. I traded their lives for yours because you are precious to me. You are honored, and I love you. See, God loves you so much and believes that you are valuable. We need to believe that. God thinks that we are precious, honored, and loved. Then, when times get hard and we let those negative thoughts that we had mentioned earlier, rule over our thinking, then we're definitely not able to think and really believe that we are precious, honored, and loved by God.
He also says that you are priceless. 2 Corinthians chapter 6, verses 19 through 20 says, don't you realize that your body is the temple of the Holy Spirit, who lives in you and was given to you by God? You do not belong to yourself, for God bought you with a high price. So you must honor God with your body. You see, you can replace a book or a baseball bat or an iPhone, but God made you in such a way that makes you priceless. There's only one you.
Wow, that is a lot of good stuff.
A lot of good stuff.
Did you catch all that? We tell you this because it's true.
So true.
And we really believe that every relationship we have should be impacted by how God sees us. So now that we know some things about each other and we know how God sees us, it's time for some more real talk. In order to have a really awesome relationship, you have to know the basics.
You do. So for our next segment, we're calling this one Dating for Dummies. I mean, this was a real book, you guys. This segment of our show will give you a few steps to starting a relationship.
Dana, I have a very important question. What is something you look for in someone you are going to date?
I haven't dated in a really long time.
Okay, marriage, just put it back here for a second. Wait, you know what? Actually, let's make this not weird. What was something you looked for in your current husband that you love so much?
He was a great dancer.
Whoa, he had the moves. What is something that you look for in someone you're going to date?
Now he loves God.
Whoa, are you playing chess?
We do not care.
No money limit. Where would you take someone on a date?
Disneyland.
Disneyland? Like downtown Disneyland?
Disneyland. Yeah. Disneyland in California, better.
Elliot! I have questions for you, my friend. If you had $5 to take someone on a date, what would you do?
The Dollar Tree is pretty good. They got like a nice assortment.
Yes.
You get like cheap art craft supplies. And then there's like food and cleaning products.
I say Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
She's a 10, but she does not like baseball.
I mean, it's her opinion, so like 9 and 9.
Aw. She's a 10, but like she won't even watch you play baseball.
Oh, 4.
There, that's what I thought. Hello, guys! I have a question for all of you.
Who asked?
He's a 10, but on Sunday mornings, he's watching football and not service.
Does he go on Saturday night service?
Why ain't no way, boy?
4. 5. 5? Let's go with 4.
Thanks, guys. Oh, wait, actually. Psych! What are the things you look for in someone that you want to date?
Short and smart.
If you had $5 to take someone on a date, what would you do? Chance?
Probably McDonald's then.
Okay, and are we sticking with the Big Mac?
A Big Mac.
We sharing the Big Mac?
Yeah.
What are the qualities you look for in a person that you're going to date? Or currently married to, whatever.
Nice, cute smile. So I guess it's gotta be the looks. I'm kind of shallow. But once you get to know them, kind, like a loving person, they make you feel comfortable.
Yeah, no. I'm the complete opposite of him.
Then we have a problem. What are some of the qualities you look for in a person that you are going to date?
Funny. He was a Christian. So he took his relationship.
He didn't say that. No, he didn't. I think you guys are compatible. If I had a quiz, you'd pass. You looked at me like you really didn't want me to ask you a question, so that is why I'm definitely going to ask you a question. What is something you look for in somebody that you would want to date? I know. It's a really mature question.
Please, no! No!
A few moments later.
Montana!
Awesome. Thanks, Nia. All right. For real though, let's kick it off with number 1. Connect with Jesus. We talked about how girls and guys want you to love God more than you love them. So we have to start off with Jesus. I mean, we should always start off with Jesus. John 15:5 says, "Yes, I am the vine and you are the branches. Those who remain in me and I in them will produce much fruit. For apart from me, you can do nothing." Jesus should be the foundation of every relationship that you start. So that also means that both of you should love Jesus so you can push each other to know and love him more and more every day. This is so important, hence why it's number 1.
Number 1. Well, number 2, protect my mind. Remember what God says about you and those around you. Don't let your mind get caught up on what you see in the movies or on social media or what dating should be according to the world. You have to protect your mind from things that aren't from God.
Which brings us into number 3. Bring people in. I mean, life is so much better with people you love and trust in it. You want people in your life that will help you, guide you, and be there for you. So make sure you lean into your trusted friends, your parents, your small group leader, and your small group.
All right, number 4, create boundaries. You might think you're too young for this one, but you are never too young to set boundaries. Think about what you want for your relationship with God and others and yourself, both today and in the future. Then set some boundaries that help you get there and protect you from giving in to temptation.
That's right. You want to be protected in all ways. All right. Well, that leads us to number 5. Choose who you date wisely. Think about your future person and figure out what qualities you actually want in someone. You want someone who wants the same things as you, who wants to honor your relationship with Jesus as much as you do. Someone who's
Totally awesome.
All right. Last but definitely not least, don't give up if I mess up. That doesn't mean you should just forget and move on. You definitely want to learn from your mistakes, but you also need to know that you are forgiven and that you can start over when you mess up. Just because you messed up doesn't mean you are messed up. In Romans 6:14, it says, "Sin is no longer your master, for you no longer live under the requirements of the law. Instead, you live under the freedom of God's grace."
So that's it. That's
it.
That's all we got for you on Real Talk today. So where you can get the real talk on all things dating and relationships.
Yep. And I'm so glad we got through that together. And as always, if you have more questions, we would love for you to talk about those. We even hope that you would talk to your parents about this stuff too.
Definitely.
They have insights and experiences and guidance on what relationships should look like in your life. So There's our dating 101. We'll see you next week in JHM for some more real talk.